Here we're on the help page for understanding the step-by-step instructions for creating a list. So what we're going to do is go to the Lists tab in Listed. So on my phone on the left, I'm going to go to Listed by tapping it to open it. And I'm going to go down here to the Lists tab and tap it. Now I'm going to go to the next step, which is tap the Create a New List button, which is this one. So I'm going to go over here to this phone and I'm going to tap Create a New List. Then in step 3, we want to name our list. So for my list name, I'm going to say Near High Park. Okay, and then I'm going to tap Create. Now, you're going to see I have this Near High Park list, but there's nothing in it. That's why over here in step 4, we're going to find a listing to add to the list. Okay, so let me just move this up a little. So here it's telling us, while you're searching in the Browse tab, okay, so we want to move over here to the Browse tab. From the Lists tab, go over to the Browse tab. So let me do that first. Now I'm in the card view here, but on this phone, they're simply looking in the list view. See, so this card is going to be highlighted on the map here, and it's going to be at the top of my list. See it here? So the great thing about this is now I can look and find the listing that I want to exactly add to the list. So in this case, they chose this listing and they tapped it to open it up. So in my case, I'm going to choose this one and I'm going to tap to open it up. Now they're indicating go to the 3 dots or the ellipsis, which is right up here. So I'm going to tap that by touching it. Now you're going to see I have the option Add to List. So let me go down here to step 5. This is saying select the list you want to add the listing to or create a new list. So when I say Add to List, by tapping it here, you're going to see that in 5.1 and 5.2, 5.1 is creating a new list. Okay, so number 1 here says create a new list. That's what we're going to do. We're going to tap create a new list. Now, it's letting you know that it's going to suggest a handy dandy name, which is based on the neighborhood. So you can just tap and remove that. Like here, I will tap the backspace and it'll get rid of it altogether. And now this is the placeholder text. And so I could write by going onto the keyboard here, Near High Park. Okay, and say create. So now I've added this listing to a list, and down here where it says you're going to see a banner, that's this banner that disappears. Okay, now let's go back, and instead of creating a new list, let's do 5.2. Let's say adding to an existing list. So what am I going to do? I'm always going to go back to these ellipses or 3 dots and tap them. I'm going to say add to list by tapping it. Now I'm going to choose Near High Park. Okay, so that listing was added to the list. So there's a little summary here, which basically just lets you know that this is a great way to organize everything you find in the Browse tab, or if you get alerted about something new that comes up because you had a saved search, you might want to add it to a list. You could think of the Browse and the saved searches and the alerts as the searching and finding listings, and the lists as organizing and sharing. So let me go and tap lists here. So you can see everything I like gets neatly gathered into a likes list. All my saved searches are here, and my lists of listings are here. And here I've only added one listing to this list. It's also possible to add multiple listings to a list at the same time. For example, if you were in the Browse tab and you were in the list view, See the ellipsis here? Wherever you see an ellipsis, like right is here, always remember an ellipsis indicates more options are available. So if you tap the 3 dots on any of these listings, instead of choosing add to list, you could actually choose select. It puts the list in a half state. See, now you can choose any of these. So you can't expand them when you're choosing them. So I like to mark them as like or dislike so that I know which ones to add. But you might go through and add this one and this one. No, don't want that one. I'm going to add this one. Maybe you never wanted to add this one actually. So once you tap these, that one's already in it, this one. It only gets added once to a list, so you don't have to worry if it was already there. I can go down, tap a few more, and then say add to, choose add to, and I'm back to where I can create a new list or put them in my near-high park. Okay, now you notice I had 2 almost similar lists there, near-high park and near-high park. That's because I did it 2 different ways, and I must have, it looks very similar, but I must have had an extra space or something, because normally it would say a number 1 and a number 2. But what I'm going to do is long press this one by holding on it with my finger and delete it, because I don't need to. And that listing, I'm going to tap delete here, because that listing is already in this list. Okay.